The call came while I was scrubbing my hands raw under hospital lights. Not ringing, buzzing, relentless, unknown number. I stared at the vibrating phone on the steel counter, water dripping from my wrists like a countdown. When I finally answered, there was breathing on the other end, slow, intentional. Then a voice I knew too well. Like, comment, and subscribe Huna Stories for more stories. You should have helped family, my mother-in-law said softly. Now everyone will know who you really are. The line went dead. I stood there longer than necessary, hands numb, heart steady in that dangerous way it gets before something breaks. Outside the operating room, my name was already starting to change shape. Not spoken, whispered, bent. I didn't panic. I never do at the beginning. I dried my hands, picked up my phone, and felt the first crack run through a life I'd built with surgical precision. I'd refused the surgery 3 weeks earlier, not because I couldn't do it, because I wouldn't. My brother-in-law needed a complex procedure, high risk, long recovery, expensive. I explained it calmly. Hospital policy, insurance requirements, ethical boundaries. She smiled the entire time, too wide, too patient. Family doesn't charge family, she said. I watched my wife tense beside me. She knew that smile, grew up surviving it. I said no anyway. That's when the silence started. No calls, no visits. Then small things began slipping through the cracks. Anonymous complaints filed at the hospital. Questions about my billing practices. A rumour that I'd botched a procedure years ago. Another that I'd demanded cash under the table, none of it loud, all of it deliberate. At home, my wife stopped sleeping. Her phone filled with messages from unknown accounts, accusations, threats, screenshots taken out of context. Family group chats turned into digital firing squads. I told her to block them. She cried anyway. I felt something cold settle behind my ribs. This wasn't anger, it was intent. I didn't confront anyone, I never do. I started documenting. Timestamps, IP addresses, complaint IDs, patterns and phrasing. The same spelling mistakes repeating across different anonymous emails. I watched, listened, smiled politely when colleagues asked if I was okay. Inside, my thoughts moved like a scalpel, slow, exact, unforgiving. At night, my wife slept with the lights on. I lay awake, replaying every conversation I'd ever had with her mother. Every guilt-laced compliment, every sacrifice she'd demanded in the name of love. This wasn't about the surgery, it never was. It was about control, and I had just taken it from her. The proof arrived on a Tuesday morning, a forensic IT report from a private investigator I trusted with my life and license. The harassment emails traced back to a home IP address. The complaint submitted from a VPN she'd installed on her phone, ironically under her real name. She wasn't careful. She didn't think she needed to be. I printed everything. Didn't shake, didn't smile. I invited her for coffee, neutral ground, public. She arrived confident, already rehearsed for battle. "You've hurt this family," she said before sitting down. I slid the folder across the table, didn't speak. She opened it page by page. Her face rearranged itself. Shock collapsing into fear, fear scrambling for outrage. "This is fake," she whispered. I watched her hands tremble. "I know," I said calmly. "That's why it's airtight." People around us laughed, ordered pastries, lived. She stared at me like she was seeing something new, something she couldn't bend. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't threaten. I told her exactly what would happen. The hospital board would receive the full report unless the harassment stopped immediately, permanently. A cease and desist would follow, then legal action, then public exposure, not revenge. Consequences, she cried. Actually cried. I was protecting my son, she said. I stood up. You were punishing me, I replied, for saying no. I left her there, still holding the folder like it might explode. We cut contact that day, blocked numbers, changed routines, documented everything. The harassment stopped overnight. The complaints were withdrawn quietly. My reputation stabilized. The whispers found new prey. My wife started sleeping again. Sometimes she asks if I feel bad. I tell her the truth. No, because betrayal doesn't deserve forgiveness when it's strategic, and love doesn't survive blackmail. I didn't ruin her life. I simply stepped out of her reach. And for the first time since I said no, I felt completely untouched. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe Huna Stories for more stories.